Shabbat Shalom. Before we get started, just a reminder to please silence or turn off your cell phones now. There is a $10 tzedakah donation for each offense. I am Marlene Spiegel, and I serve on your board of directors as your ritual co-chair. Tonight's service will be led by the incredible Rosengolds, Rachel and Yuri. Carol Wilson will light candles tonight. Thank you, Carol. And we have a special reading tonight as Hanukkah is coming up next week from the first book of the Maccabees, chapter 2, by our president, Ricky Bauman. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Ed Birkin in honor of his birthday. He's in there. New members, would you please just wave? I don't know if we have any new ones right now. All right, the guests visiting us tonight, you can wave. Lynn Barry. Hi, Lynn. Bob Moslow. Hello, Bob. Welcome. Bob Hunt. That's right. Hi. All right. Welcome you tonight, and we welcome you tonight, and truly hope that you enjoy this service. And that's it.
And you're staying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening and Shabbat Shalom. We'll begin our service with a meditation, and considering the time of year, it'll be a special meditation for Shabbat and for winter solstice, which I believe will be tomorrow. As Shabbat begins, let us pause and embrace the stillness of this sacred time. This week we also find ourselves at the winter solstice, which is actually tomorrow, December 21st, the longest night of the year. The earth is quiet, wrapped in a blanket of darkness, preparing for the slow return of light. Let us reflect on the gifts of both darkness and light and their connection to this holy day. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Inhale deeply, inviting the quiet of this winter evening into your heart. Exhale, releasing tension, worry, and distraction. Let yourself arrive fully in this moment. The solstice reminds us of the beauty of darkness. Darkness is where seeds germinate, where rest restores us, where dreams are born. It is not a time to fear, but a time to honor. Reflect on how Shabbat offers a similar embrace, a sacred pause, an invitation to step back from the busy world and find rest. Ask yourself, what have I found in the quiet moments of my life? What does the darkness of this season offer me? As we welcome Shabbat, we kindle the flames of the Shabbat candles, bringing light into our homes and souls. The solstice teaches us that even the smallest light has profound power in the deepest darkness. As the candles glow, reflect on your own inner light. What sparks of light do I carry within me? How can I nurture these sparks into something brighter in the weeks to come? Feel the rhythm of the earth, the turning of the seasons. The solstice and Shabbat both call us to be present with creation. Offer gratitude for the cycles of nature that guide us, for the rest of winter, and for the promise of light's return. We offer a closing blessing. Blessed are you, source of creation, who sanctifies us with your commandments and connects us to the sacred rhythm of Shabbat. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who brings light into darkness and hope into our hearts. When you're ready, please open your eyes. May this Shabbat and this solstice bring you peace, renewal, and the strength to embrace both the stillness of winter and the growing light ahead. Shabbat Shalom.
So we are going to be opening with our opening nigun, and Raleigh, this is going to be for you.
You've heard it before, so don't hesitate to join in.
Absolutely. That's a little.
Let's try that again.
Try it again. Just making sure you're all awake. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat
Shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, da 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 da. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Okay, so now we're going to invite Carol Wilson up to join us here on the bima, and she's going to light our Shabbat candles.
We light a candle, and the aura glows. A luster in darkness, we are lamps, each one. Rays shine outward, the splendor grows, recalling brilliance of a desert sun. Ours is a storm-swept age when faith and courage falter. Hope flickers like a dying ember's beams. Then to light a candle makes every heart an altar. And earthbound creatures soar to capture dreams. Night turns to dawn, we see each other's face when candles of our spirit light the near and furthest place.
She's a pro.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu halal neshel Shabbat.
Amen.
Please rise for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereishit. Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'charta, V'otanu kitashta, Mikol ha'olamim, V'shabbat kadshecha, V'ahava uvratzon, Hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Amen.
Please be seated.
It's the best grape juice ever. I'm a real sissy Mary, so anyway.
Please join us in the reading on page 124 and on the screen. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love and
all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We're going to be continuing now with Lecha Dodi, and we're going to be seeing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. So please feel free to join in with us. I think you're going to know this version. We've done it a couple times. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'li t'chila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha v'rosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava t'chila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orek u'mi'ori, uri, uri, shidaveri, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai yadadai yadadai. Please rise. Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat mekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvtzola toch kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We're now going to continue with Chatzi Kaddish, which is going to be on page 144 in your sidurs and as well as on the screen. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabba Yamad yivrach yotev yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedcho beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala Uvizman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehesh merabba mevorach le'olam olam me'omaya yitbarach yitbarach ve'yishbabach ve'yitbar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitala shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram b'yama ve'imeru Amen.
We continue with Baruch Hu. This may be a different tune for some of you, but if you know it, feel free to join. Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 148 and on the screen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim ubitvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umesader et hakochavim umishmeroteim barakia kirtzono Borei yom v'layla כולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
We're going to be continuing now with Ahavat Olam, which is on page 150, as well as up on the screen. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Am Ahavta Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Anu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shokbeinu, ufkumeinu, nasiach chokecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ahavat olam tehet Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokbeinu, ufkumeinu, nasiach chokecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ihem chayenu be'orech yameinu, u'bahem negei yomam v'layla, v'ahavatecha al ta'asir mimenu le'olamim. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. You probably recognize that as the Ilana Arian tune, so we tried our best to do that for you. Oh, thanks. So please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue with V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshavtecha uvkumecha uvshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Please join us now for the reading. It's on page 157 as well as on the screen. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
We continue with Mihamocha on page 158.
And if you know the tune, please join us. Mihamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mihamocha nedar b'kodesh norat tehilot, osef el norat tehilot, osef el malakecha rahuvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, zehelianu ve'amru, zehelianu ve'amru, Adonai Eloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar, 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 ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak, chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai Gala Yisrael. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh. We're going to be continuing now with the reading on page 161, which is also up on the screen. So please join us. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Okay. We're going to continue now with Vishamru, which is on page 162. And if you know this tune, please feel free to join. I think it's going to be up there, or no? There you go.
There we go.
Okay. It's all good stuff. Yeah. An oldie but a goodie. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת. please rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasderot v'Imaot, U'mevig Geulah livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah, Rav le'hoshia, Moshiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech oholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei ahava, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umidomelach, Melech memid, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Nemanata lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yechalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated.
We continue with the reading on page 173. That's also on the screen. Please join us. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We now continue with Ritzeh. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, U'tehi ratzon, Tamid avodat Yisrael.
We continue on page 177.
Please join us.
When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers,
the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha na'eh lehodot. We're going to be continuing now with Shalom Rav, which is on page 178 as well as on the screen. And this is done by our friend, the cantor Shira Nafshi.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. 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 Ki ata u'melech adon lechol ha'shalom. Ki ata u'melech adon lechol ha'shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit ub'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Hamevarech et amo Yisrael Bashalom. We continue with silent prayer, perhaps using the reading on page 181 and on the screen, or you can pray whatever's in your heart. צאנים רפי, הגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable before you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimroma, ose shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru, amen.
The next piece we're going to be doing is Lu Yehi, which we have been doing for far too long, as we all know. This is, I hate to say it, in honor of those who are being held hostage for over a year and 2 months now. And the tali tot that are there, sitting empty on the chairs in the middle of our sanctuary, are for when we will remove them when they are freed. So we pray for their release and for the end of this atrocity. So, Lu Yehi.
עוד יש מפרש לבן באופק, מול ענן שחור כבד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. ואם בחלונות הערב, או נרות החג רועד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, אנא לו יהי. כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, אנא לו יהי. כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, אנא לו יהי. כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי, אנא לו יהי. כל שנבקש לו יהי.
Now we're going to read the names on our Mishaberach list. First, we're going to read the names on our list here, and then we're going to ask for any names that you have that are in your heart. We'll ask for you to read those out loud. Give us just a moment to read the names on the list first, please. Okay. This week we are saying a Mishaberach for Beverly Adler, Shirley Bergman, Barry Brown, Andrea Chasen, Batsheva Sarah Gamarin, Arnie Goldklang, Alan Hirsch, Richard Hoffing, Liz Jacobs, Marcia Katz, Verdna Kelly, Carolyn Corlin, Wilma Levine, Martin Lutzker, Marlis Markovitz, Barbara Milstein, Don Mostov, Paula Newberger, Leslie Rapkin, Fanny Rice, Betty Sarlin, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Maxine Schoenholtz, Simone Shaw, Joe Sheff, Charles Steinberg, Norman Topp, Don Zion, Stanley Zarofsky, Leslie Zwain, Amit Ben Shirley, Ariel Bat Rivka, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Avra Bat Hinda, Beryl Bat Shia V'Rachel, Chana Pesa bat Golda, Chava bat Esther Malka, Chaya Esther bat Chana, Devorah bat Ruth, Devorah bat Sarah, Vegi Devasha bat Bracha, Heshlib ben Dvorah, Leib Shalom ben Fagel, Manya bat Fredel, Masha Sora bat Chana, Menachem ben Frima, Mindela bat Frima, Miriam bat Thelma, Mordechai ben Sarah, Moshe Hirsch ben Rachel, Pesach Lev ben Sarah, Sarah Mindel bat Chanaleah, Bracha bat Shirley, Shalom ben Pesel, excuse me, sorry, Shaul Yochanan ben Sarah, Shena bat Chaya Esther, Shena Bracha bat Yudit, Shena Leah bat Devorah, Shira Lee bat Sarah, Shulamit bat Zillah, Simcha ben Sarah, Zerah Reza bat Esther, Vaiva ben Hinda Bela, Yonatan ben Hasya. If there's anyone that's in your heart that you would like to say a Mishaberach for, please feel free to say their name out loud.
Debbie Cassell, Charlie Cassell.
Mark Bear, Mark Gross, Cindy Van,
Thank you all. We'll continue now with Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak VeYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Uyevarech v'Rapeh et hacholim Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak VeYaakov Sarah Rivka Sarah v'Leah Uyevarech v'Rapeh et hacholim Elna Refana Elna Refana Elna Refana Elna Refana Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak VeYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Uyevarech v'Rapeh et hacholim Uyevarech v'Rapeh et hacholim. We now invite our temple president, Ricky Bauman, up to the bima to share a drash with us. Okay.
Okay, we all know Hanukkah is coming. And Rabbi Carly years ago ruined everyone's childhood story of that little jug of oil as being the story of the Maccabees. So as Hanukkah actually arrives next week, and next Friday night will be our Hanukkah Shabbat, and of course Wednesday night will be our Hanukkah lighting, and that's another story. However, and I don't want to steal Marlene's lines, so this is our second installment of the Book of the Maccabees. I know Ken Silver knew that there were Book of the Maccabees before I announced them, but there were actually 4 of them, and we are still on the first one, and we're only going to do chapter 2. There are 6 chapters in the book, and then there are 3 more books. We're not doing anything like that this year, so not to worry. Okay, so here we go. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib from Jerusalem. And he dwelled in the mountain of Modin. And he had 5 sons, John, who was surnamed Gaddi, and Simon, who was surnamed Thassi, and Judas, who was called Maccabeus, in Greek that means hammer, and Eleazar, who was surnamed Avaron, and Jonathan, who was surnamed Apphus. These saw the evils that were done in the people of Judah and in Jerusalem. And Mattathias said, "Woe is me! Why was I born to see the ruin of my people and the ruin of the holy city, and to dwell there when it is given into the hands of the enemies? The holy places are come into the hands of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without honor. The vessels of her glory are carried away captive. Her old men are murdered in the streets, and her young men are fallen by the sword of the enemies. What nation has not inherited her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. She that was free is made a slave," which means Judah by way of the Syrian Greeks. "And behold, our sanctuary," the temple, "and our beauty and our glory is laid waste, and the Gentiles have defiled them. To what end then should we live any longer?" And Mattathias and his sons tore their garments, and they covered themselves with sackcloth and mourned greatly. And they that were sent from King Antiochus came there to compel them that were fled into the city of Modim to sacrifice and to burn incense and to depart from the law of God. And many of the people of Israel consented and came to them. But Mattathias and his sons stood firm. And they that were sent from Antiochus answering said to Mattathias, "You are a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and adorned with sons and brethren. Therefore come yours first, and obey the king's commandment, as all nations have done. And the men of Judah and they that remain in Jerusalem, and you and your sons, shall be in the number of the king's friends, and enriched with gold and silver and many presents." Then Mattathias answered and said with a loud voice, "Although all nations obey King Antiochus, so as to depart every man from the service of the law of his fathers, and consent to his commandments, I and my sons and my brethren will obey the law of our fathers. God be merciful to us. It is not profitable for us to forsake the law and the justices of God. We will not obey the words of King Antiochus, neither will we sacrifice and transgress the commandments of our law to the right hand or the left." Now, as he left off speaking these words, there came a certain Jew in the sight of all to sacrifice to the idols upon the altar in the city of Modim, according to the king's commandment. And Mattathias saw and was grieved, and his heart trembled, and his wrath was kindled according to the judgment of the law. And running upon him, he slew him upon the altar. That's Jew killing Jew. Moreover, the man whom King Antiochus had sent, who compelled them to sacrifice, he slew at the same time and pulled down the altar. And showed zeal for the law, as Phinehas did by Zimri the son of Salu. Now the story of Phinehas, or Pinchas, is that he saw two Jews fornicating by the tent of meeting, and he was so strong, he ran a sword right through the two of them, killed them on the spot. So you're not talking about your normal everyday people here. These are crazy zealots. And Mattathias cried out in the city with a loud voice, saying, everyone that has zeal for the law and maintains the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that they had in the city. Then many that sought after judgment and justice went down into the desert. And they dwelled there, they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased upon them. And it was told to the king's men and to the army that was in Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone away into the secret places in the wilderness, and that many were gone after them. And forthwith they went out towards them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said to them, do you still resist? Come forth and do according to the edict of King Antiochus, and you shall live. And they said, we will not come out, neither will we obey the king's edict to profane the Sabbath day. And they made haste to give them battle. So this is the Greeks attacking the Jews hiding. But they answered them not, neither did they cast a stone at them, nor stopped up the secret places, saying, let us all die in our innocence. And heaven and earth shall be witnesses for us, that you put us to death wrongfully. So they gave them battle on the Sabbath, and they were slain with their wives and their children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 persons. So the Jews did not resist, did not fight the Greeks on the Sabbath day. And Mattathias and his friends heard of it. They mourned for them exceedingly. And every man said to his neighbor, if we shall all do as our brethren have done, and not fight against the Gentiles for our lives and our ordinances, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. And they determined in that day, saying, whoever comes against us to fight on the Sabbath day, we will fight against them. And we will not all die as our brethren that were slain in the secret places. Then was assembled to them the congregation of the Hasidians, the mightiest of Israel, everyone that had a good will for the law. So when you're hearing law, you're talking Torah and anything like that. And all they that fled from the evils joined to them and were a support to them. And they organized an army and slew the sinners in their wrath and the wicked men in their indignation. And the rest fled to the nations for safety. Okay, so yeah, they're attacking the Greeks, but they're also attacking the Jews that don't see it their way. And Mattathias and his friends went around and tore down the altars, and they circumcised all the children whom they found in the confines of Israel that were uncircumcised. And they did valiantly. And they pursued after the children of arrogance, and the work prospered in their hands. And they recovered the law out of the hands of the nations and out of the hands of the kings. And they yielded not the horn to the sinner, the horn being the shofar. Now the days drew near that Mattathias should die, and he said to his sons, now has arrogance and scorn gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers, and remember the deeds of your fathers. And remember the deeds of the fathers which they did in their generations, and you shall receive great glory and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was reputed to him to justice? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment, and he was made Lord of Egypt. Pinchas, our father, by being fervent in the zeal of God, received the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. So the guy that did the double duty with the sword, all the priests actually descended from him. Joshua, while he fulfilled the word, was made ruler in Jerusalem, in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received an inheritance. He was one of the 12 spies that with Joshua said, no, the place is good. David, by his mercy, obtained the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elijah, while he was full of zeal for the law, was taken up in heaven. Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, by believing, were delivered out of the flame. So that's in the book of Daniel, where they're being pretty much baked in the oven, and they were saved. Daniel, in his innocence, was delivered out of the mouth of the lions. And to so observe from generation to generation that none that trust in him, God, fail in strength. And fear not the words of a sinful man, for his glory is dung and worms. Nasty. Today he is lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned to dust, and his plans come to nothing. My sons, take courage and behave manfully in the law, for by it you shall be glorious. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of wise counsel. Give ear to him always, and he shall be a father to you. And Judas Maccabeus, who is valiant and strong from his youth, up, let him be the leader of your army, and he shall manage the war of the people. And you shall take to you all that observe the law, and revenge the wrong of your people. Render to the Gentiles their reward in full, and take heed to the commands of the law. And he blessed them, and was joined to his fathers. He died. And he died in 146th year, and he was buried by his sons in the tomb of his fathers in Modin, and all Israel mourned for him with great mourning. The takeaway, oh, that's the book. The takeaway is that the reason the rabbis invented that jug of oil story is because they're not nice people. And as you go through the books, you see they're no different than any other kings or high priests, where they're fighting with each other, and it's all about money and power and things of that nature. But the last installment this year is next week.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Ricky.
Okay, next week, part 3.
We all rise for Aleinu. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו
קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, וידעת היום, והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ, ועל הארץ מתחת. אין עוד, אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. As we read the names on this week's Kaddish list, please rise if the name of your family member is mentioned. Then we will rise as an entire congregation as we join in the morning's Kaddish. Today we remember Rabbi Phil Aronson, husband of Jean Aronson, Ruth Kobe, mother of Robert Kobe, Sarah Kagan, grandmother of Sandy Goldstein, Edward Hoffing, father of Richard Hoffing, Diane Greenwald, mother of Wendy Jennings, Etta Karp, mother of Norman Karp, Ethel Kingson, mother-in-law of Sophie Kingson, Lena Goldstein, grandmother of Linda Mumford, Sheldon Cole, father of Barbara Nova, Hyman B. Rosenzweig, father of Rachel Rosenzweig, Dr. Victor Levine, of the family of Sandy Goldstein, Frances Abramson, of the family of Sandy Goldstein, Adele Wachstein, mother of Saul Wachstein, Max Wolfeld, Edith Mogul, Sylvia Jupiter, Fred Chereau, husband of Sid Chereau, Seth Reingold, son of Susie and Rick Reingold. We also remember Jews of Estonia who perished in the Holocaust, represented today by these 6 names: Ruth Kamaras, Yehoshua Pliskin, Tamara Kropman, Mala Goldberg, Lev Milstein, Simon Mletchin. Please all rise for Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, Be'alma tivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chai echon uvyom echon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mibarach le'olam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, shmei tekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. עלינו ועל כל ישראל
V'imru Amen.
Please be seated.
Lady, what's up for announcements? Marlene? Sorry about that.
Thank you, Yuri and Rachel. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And Carol, as well as our astonishing, wonderful tech team. There you go. Erev Shabbat service next Friday night with our chaplain and past president Elise Axon. And as Hanukkah will actually be here, Ricky Bauman will bring us the third and final installment of the real story of Hanukkah from the first book of the Maccabees. Our annual Hanukkah lighting is on Wednesday, December 25th, 5 p.m., right out here on the lawn. We'll do some songs, some quick prayers, and a little liquid surprise. Plus jelly donuts. It'll be fun. Bring your friends. Beth Israel's month to volunteer for Meals on Wheels starts in January. Please contact Harriet Seckel for this major mitzvah for the homebound. Sisterhood's membership meeting is on Tuesday, January 7th, 1 p.m. The Board of Directors will be meeting here on second Fridays at 10 a.m. for 2025. Next is January 10th, right here. All are welcome. Mark your calendars for the men's clubs, Bagel and Discovery. The second in the series has the fascinating Daniel Ruth on board. Daniel is a former columnist for the Tampa Bay Times. This will be on Sunday, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. Don't miss this one. Join Ricky Bauman and become a holy roller on Sunday, January 19th at 2 p.m. No, don't go and convert. A holy roller is a person who has learned how to maintain and care for a Torah. This is a hands-on opportunity to learn to repair the Torahs. It's a mitzvah. See Ricky. Library Book Club meets on Monday, January 20th via Zoom at 10:30 a.m. Contact Barbara Nova for this. Raise your hand, Barbara Nova. Shabbat dinners return for 2025. Friday night, January 31st. See Rochelle Lafer. See Rochelle Lafer. Raise your hand, Rochelle. She's way in the back there. I don't know what this means, only if before 8:45 p.m. I'm not sure what you meant by that.
If it's later than 8:45, don't do it.
Okay.
It's
Are there
8:45.
any simchas that anyone would like to I wasn't. Oh,
It's
because
okay,
it's
it's
after
okay.
8:45.
Oh, it's
So
close enough.
sorry.
It's so close.
Are there
Oh, come
any
on.
simchas?
Yeah.
No. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Da, da, da. Okay, so our closing song, hold on, is in honor of the lovely holiday of Hanukkah, which is coming up on Wednesday night. So you may know this one, and if you do,
Yeah,
Join us.
we have a good idea that you do.
you probably do. Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Cradles to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning so low. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. made us to play with and like us to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night, they shed a sweet light and remind us of days long ago. One for each night, they shed a sweet light and remind us of days long ago. Happy Hanukkah to be, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
And turn on your cell phones.
Yes, and don't forget to turn your cell phones on, everybody. Ah, thanks.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Wanted to share a Bima with you.
Thanks. Yeah, it's always fun to share the Bima with you. It's great. You know?
Yeah.
All right.
There we
That's
go.
your job. Your job.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just going to put this here for the moment.